Small disclaimer. Okay, big disclaimer. This presentation, whatever this is going to have cuss words. It's going to have some graphic content, violence. I don't know. I don't trigger warnings. Yeah, it's kind of par for the course. Life is triggering. So, grow up. And it's pretty extreme, I guess. So here we go. I'm reading this from a page because I had to write it down. And I need to get it out. Or it's a coping mechanism and I'm trying to get better. So, I had a very dramatic childhood. My dad was a sociopath, so it's interesting to think back on it. And I realized that my childhood really wasn't normal. It was bizarre, to say the least. For one, we moved constantly, so subsequently I had very few friends, if any, and even when we did settle down for school or work, I still didn't really talk to people. Yeah, so social skills are not my forte, like at all. And I'm not over-exaggerating, I'm under-exaggerating. When I was born, I had failure to thrive. I have social anxiety disorder and suspected mild Asperger's. It means I can't connect with people on a mental level, or at least I connect with them differently than normal people do. And so the social formative years didn't happen. And on top of that, I hit puberty at 9. Then we moved to Vegas during my elementary school years, and I'm not boasting because I think that's just obnoxious, but I'm not exactly ugly, and I've looked like this since I was 9. And guys, I have big tits. I have big tits, I have big hips. And guys in Vegas, you go walking down the street looking like me, you're going to hear about it from passing cars, from people on the street, in the store. My first kiss was stolen at the back of Albertsons. So, yeah, that happened. I imagine there are people out there. Okay, where was I? I hated Vegas, but it had the schools I needed because I had some anarchic tendencies. Teachers and students were scared shitless of me. And for a really good reason. Because I imagine there are people out there who are either scared or traumatized, scarred, or, all of those things. And if you are one of the kids who I scratched the shit out of, or one of those teachers that I hit, bit, or scratched during one of my rages, then from the bottom of my heart, I am so, so, so sorry. What I went through does not change that what I did, how I treated you was wrong. So yeah, that was school. And home was not any better. Like I said, my dad was physically, mentally, and socially abusive. He was a case of stereotypical sociopathic tyrant. My mom was a sheltered child who got pregnant and to prove a point married my dad. The most she could do was play stupid, play into his ego, and learn to tuck and roll. My sister was the literal crash test dummy child, the term more literal than figurative. My dad loved to hurt her. He loved to use her to hurt my mom. And that was not something that was exclusive to her. But I was an impenetrable fortress of unpredictable crazy, and my brother learned faster than my dad's fat ass, stupid legs could keep up. We all grew up fast and mean. But lucky for us, Mom wasn't out of the fight. She was like water, working around my dad's Neanderthalic-like methods of parenting to show us that there was more to life than pain and shame and loneliness. The greatest thing she did was get us down to Vegas, even though I hated it. It had the one thing that we needed, and that was my grandma. She was a godly woman, if you've ever met a godly woman in your life. She was the founder of all the good things that my mom had to plant for us in secret. Faith, hope, love, happiness, and when we met Grandma, we had the support system that my dad couldn't construct with any of his get-rich-quick schemes, manipulative use of good charitable people, or bullying. And it was because of my grandma and my mom. Losing my grandma. And my mom then standing up to make a life in all the shit my dad created. That us kids grew out of our animalistic, cruel, short-sighted behavior. We all found God, found Christ, and are all now working to create a life for ourselves. That's my story. I wasn't a good person. I'm still not a good person. But I know who I am now. I'm not who I was. And that's because of Christ. That's because of my mom. That's because of my grandma. And it was because of my dad too. Because my dad was that shadow cast by the light. He pointed to better things. And I'm so glad I had such a stark comparison of what was good and what was bad in parenting. Because without that, I would be just as lost as some of these people out here who don't know what the hell evil, bad, or good or great people are. They're stuck with this vanilla sort of perspective that just isn't a clear picture of the true nature of people. And I was very, very fortunate to be exposed to that growing up, because once you see it, then you can recognize when you got it good. And you think when you can see, you can count your blessings a lot more effectively when you have experienced just the depravity and the dark and the absolute desolation that can be created from some of these pieces of shit like my dad. And that's my story. All right, thank you.